Hey there, everybody. Have a listen to this man for 30 seconds before we get on to the next man.
But when you look at what we did, we rebuilt our military. We added Space Force. Everyone said, oh, Space Force, what is that all about? When they came in, Biden wanted to end it. He said, what is this, a game? It's going to turn out to be one of the most important. It hasn't happened since Air Force 78 years ago. And it's unbelievable now. China and Russia were taking over space, and now we're leading in space because of Space Forces.
Yeah, now here's a video I made some months back. I'm only going to play 7 minutes of it, but the 7 minutes are important. We're going to lead into more ships leaving our realm than what I showed you last time. Much more. Hey there, everybody. You know this guy? Some of you might know who this guy is. This guy is retired Air Force Lieutenant General Stephen Quast of the Space Force. And here today he's speaking at Hillsdale College in Florida. Hillsdale College is a similar type of thing to TED Talks, where you go and speak to an audience. The difference is TED Talks is full of academics and hippies, conspiracy theorists, all this type of stuff, even though they don't let the truth on. But Hillsdale College is different. This guy is speaking to a room full of retired millionaires and billionaires who are looking at investments into the future of 200-300 years for their family wealth and the rest of it, yeah? So, let's hear what he has to say.
When we ask this question about, do we need a Space Force? I'd like to unpack that a little bit because it's important to first start with why. Why do we need a Space Force? And once we understand why we need a Space Force, then we can talk about, well, when do we need it? And what should it do? Critical elements of this essential question we're going to explore this evening, and I'm looking forward to your questions. But one of the most important points of thinking, space is going to change world power. Because of the power of space and what it can do. We're going to explore that a little bit tonight. But it's also a story of...
Okay, bear with me, just play a little bit more here.
Germany was competition for the airplane, the tank, and the nuclear weapon. That we eventually won, but at great cost. China is our competition. Russia is our competition. They see the power of the economy of space in these 4 sectors. And they are rushing to that future. And there is no guardian force in America, but there is in China. China has already built the organization and has the strategy and the doctrine, the technology, and the builders for their guardian force of space. They are building a navy in space with the equivalent of battleships and destroyers that will be able to maneuver and kill and communicate with dominance. And we are not. Now, this analogy might...
So the Chinese are building ships to go out into space and dominate it. You hear all that? This is coming out of this guy's mouth, right? Let's take it a little bit further.
It's not about making better satellites or even having a constellation of satellites. When you see China on the far side of the moon mapping today the minerals...
What? China is on the far side of the moon mapping minerals and resources? Yeah? And this is what's got you all riled up.
A continental United States, let's say we're in Miami, and we're looking out over the wide open ocean. That ocean is deep space. The orbit around the Earth is the shoreline, where the waves are crashing. The deep water is space. And there is a continent out there, 3 times the size of Africa. That's the moon.
There's a continent out there 3 times the size of Africa.